English Leap Podcast.
From Speak English with Class.
Hey there, English learners. Welcome back to the English Leap Podcast, a great way to learn English through a podcast.
Yes, this is where we talk, laugh, reflect, and help you grow your English and your mindset. I'm Evan, and I'm really glad you're here with us today.
And I'm Erin. Thanks for pressing play.
Right, whether you're walking, studying, or just kind of lying on the couch, it means a lot that we get to spend this time with you.
Totally. But first, how are you doing today, Evan?
Honestly, I'm okay. It's been a slow morning, but in a good way. Just me, a quiet room, and a warm cup of coffee. Felt kind of peaceful. What about you?
Same vibe, actually. I took it slow today. Did some journaling. Watched the sun come up. And I had this little moment. Not a big one. Just a thought that kind of stuck with me. I'll share it soon. But first, to everyone listening, if this podcast has ever made you smile, think, or feel understood, please hit that subscribe button, or like, or share it with someone.
Yeah, and look, we know every podcast says that. But it's not about numbers, it's about helping people who need this. Because someone else out there might be stuck, and your little share, it could be the reason they hear the right words at the right time.
Exactly. And hey, if this is your first time listening, welcome. We've also made a free PDF guide for this episode. It's got some reflection prompts, a bunch of useful vocabulary, and a few quizzes to help you practice. It's just our way of saying, hey, we're here to help you grow.
And later in the episode, we'll hear from Krystal in her vocabulary breakdown section. She'll go over some useful words and phrases from today's topic with clear meanings and examples you can actually use.
So, if you want to build your vocabulary and sound more natural in English, stick around for that. It's always a favorite with our listeners.
All right, let's get into it. But I want to start this episode a little differently today.
Ooh, go ahead.
Okay, picture this. You're sitting in a room, no phone, no noise, just quiet. And suddenly, a question floats up. Is this the life I want to keep living? Not loud, not dramatic, just soft. Like a whisper in the back of your mind.
Wow. I actually had that same kind of moment this morning. Isn't it strange? You're in the middle of a normal day, and then, boom, you just stop. And you feel it. Something inside says, this isn't it. Something has to shift.
And that's exactly where we're going today. Not into change your life in 7 days kind of stuff, but into the quiet work. The deep, slow kind of change.
Because honestly, that's the kind of change that lasts.
Today's episode is about how to change your life, but in a quiet, simple way.
So, without further ado, let's get into it.
All right, so before we even talk about how to change your life, we need to ask something a lot of people skip. Why do we stay stuck in the first place?
Yeah, and not just for a few days or weeks. Sometimes it's years. You look up and think, wait, how did I end up here?
Totally. I remember this one year, I think it was around 2020, when I felt like I was just existing, same routine. Wake up, check my phone, go to work, come back, binge watch shows, sleep, repeat.
Ugh, yes. Like you're on autopilot.
Exactly. And what I noticed was nothing was really wrong, but nothing felt right either. I wasn't unhappy, but I wasn't excited about anything either. That weird middle zone.
Yeah. And I think that middle zone is where a lot of people get stuck. We tell ourselves, it's fine. I can live with this. And that thought is dangerous because it sounds reasonable. But it's actually fear talking.
Right? Fear in disguise. Fear of failure. fear of judgment, fear of the unknown, even fear of success sometimes.
That's a big one. I had a student who kept saying she wanted to apply for an English-speaking job. She had the skills, she practiced every day, but she never sent out her resume. You know why? She told me, if I get the job, I'll have to speak English every day. What if I can't keep up?
Whoa. So it wasn't failure she feared, it was actually getting what she wanted.
Exactly. And then there's routine. The more we repeat something, the safer it feels, even if it's not good for us.
I heard this analogy once. Imagine walking through a forest. There's a small path someone already walked before. It might not lead where you want to go, but it's easier than making your own trail. So you just keep walking it.
Wow. That's so true.
But here's the thing. The longer you walk that path, the deeper the footprints become, and the harder it gets to step off.
Unless you pause, look around, and say, maybe it's time to take a different turn.
And that takes courage. But it also takes something else.
Which brings us to,
The idea that you don't need to leap, you just need to shift.
I like that word. Shift. It feels lighter.
Yeah, I used to think change had to be big, like I need to quit my job, move to another country, become a new person.
Right? All or nothing.
Exactly. But one day, I was reading this book that talked about the power of 1%, just improving one small thing each day. It hit me. Like, I didn't need to flip my whole life upside down.
So what did you do?
I started making my bed. Sounds silly, right?
Not at all. That's actually one of the most common small wins people talk about.
Yeah, and from there, it was like a chain reaction. I started going on 10-minute walks. Then I added journaling for 5 minutes. Nothing huge, but it built momentum.
That reminds me of the water metaphor. You know, how water slowly cuts through rock, not by power, but by persistence.
Exactly, one drop at a time.
And that 1% shift looks different for everyone. For one listener, it might be switching to English subtitles. For another, it might be saying hello to a colleague in English.
Or just listening to this podcast daily. That counts too.
Totally. And here's the thing. When you focus on tiny shifts, you stop overwhelming yourself. You stop saying, I have to change everything right now. Instead, you say, let me just do this one small thing today.
And that builds confidence. Because when you keep small promises to yourself, you trust yourself more.
And the more you trust yourself, the more you grow. Simple. So now let's talk about something powerful that most people overlook.
Your brain's filter, also known as the reticular activating system, RAS for short.
It sounds scientific, but here's what it means. Your brain notices what you train it to notice.
Yep. Like when you buy a red car, suddenly you see red cars everywhere.
Exactly. So if you keep saying, I'm terrible at English, your brain will find proof of that. Every mistake, every time someone corrects you.
But if you say, I'm learning, I'm getting better, your brain will start finding those moments too.
That's why affirmations matter. Not because they magically fix things, but because they shift your focus.
I used to say, I'm bad with names. And I was. But once I changed it to, I'm working on remembering names, I started improving. I actually tried.
Same for me with public speaking. I used to say, I'm not a speaker. But now I say, I'm a work in progress. And look, here I am, hosting a podcast.
So if you're listening to this and thinking, I can't change my life, I'm not that kind of person.
We get it. We've been there. But just try changing the sentence. Say, maybe I'm becoming that kind of person. See how that feels.
Because your mind is listening. Always. So give it something good to listen to.
You know what this reminds me of? A conversation I had with one of my students a while ago.
Oh, yeah? What happened?
Well, she was super smart, great at grammar, loved vocabulary, but she never spoke in class. Not even once.
That's pretty common, honestly. A lot of learners stay quiet, not because they don't know, but because they're scared to get it wrong.
Exactly. One day, I pulled her aside and asked, "Hey, why don't you try speaking up more?" And she goes, "I'm waiting until I can say it perfectly."
Oof, that hits home. We all do that sometimes, don't we? Wait for the perfect moment, the perfect words, the perfect plan.
Yeah, and the truth is, that perfect moment never comes. So I told her, "Start now. Start messy. Just say one sentence today."
And
She did it. One small, imperfect sentence. And then the next day, another. Little by little, her confidence started to grow.
not because she waited for confidence, but because she earned it. One tiny step at a time.
Yep. So if you're listening to this and thinking, "I'll start once I'm ready," maybe today is the moment, ready or not.
Because real progress doesn't come from waiting. It comes from trying, failing, laughing at yourself, and trying again.
Start ugly. Stay consistent. That's the magic.
All right, so let's say you've started. You're doing the work, but something still feels stuck. That's when you need to look at your environment.
Yep. You can't grow a flower in a parking lot. No matter how much sunlight or water it gets, if the soil's wrong, it won't grow.
I've felt that before. Like, I'm trying so hard to stay positive and focused, but I'm surrounded by noise, social media, negative energy, pressure.
Totally. A few years ago, I took a 1-week break from Instagram and YouTube, and it was wild. I felt lighter, calmer, like my brain had room to breathe.
Same here. I turned off all my notifications for a month, except calls and texts. It changed how I use my time and how I felt about myself.
Sometimes the problem isn't you. It's the soil, the energy, the voices around you.
So do a quick check. What are you planting your efforts into? Are you surrounding yourself with people and content that help you grow?
If not, change the soil. Clear out the weeds. Make space for sunlight.
Because growth depends on where you're rooted. Okay, deep breath. We've covered a lot today.
Yeah. Maybe you're feeling motivated, or maybe a little overwhelmed.
Both are totally normal. But here's what matters. You don't have to do it all at once.
You just have to begin. Again. Today.
Even if yesterday was tough. Even if the whole week felt off. You get another chance right now.
It could be 5 minutes of English practice, saying no to one distraction, or just taking a deep breath before your next choice.
Whatever it is, let it be small, but let it be real. Show up for yourself in that tiny way.
And hey, we know sometimes it's the little words that can make a big difference when you're learning English.
Yeah, that's why we've asked Krystal to step in now with her vocabulary breakdown.
She's picked out some useful words and phrases from today's episode, and she's going to explain them in a simple way, with real examples.
So grab your notebook or just relax and listen, because these are words you'll actually use.
All right, Krystal, take it away.
Hey everyone, Krystal here. It's time for today's vocabulary breakdown, where we go over some useful words and phrases from the episode. These are expressions you probably heard in the conversation, and now we'll break them down so you can understand and use them confidently. Let's get into it. Reflect, meaning to think carefully or deeply about something. Example: after the test, I took some time to reflect on what I could do better. Vibe, meaning the feeling or mood of a place, person, or moment. Example: this cafe has a really calm, peaceful vibe. Binge watch, meaning to watch a lot of TV episodes or videos in one sitting. Example: I binge watched the whole season over the weekend. In disguise, meaning something that is hidden behind another appearance. Example: her confidence was actually fear in disguise. Trail, meaning a path or direction used for walking or also for life choices. Example: he didn't follow the usual trail. He created his own path. Affirmations, meaning positive phrases you say to yourself to build belief and confidence. Example: she starts each morning with affirmations like, I can do this. Analogy, meaning a comparison that helps explain an idea or concept. Example: he used the analogy of a tree growing slowly to describe building good habits. Persistence, meaning the act of continuing to try, even when things are difficult. Example: her success didn't come quickly. It came from persistence. Momentum, meaning the energy or movement that keeps something going once it starts. Example: after one small win, he built momentum and kept improving every day. Surround, meaning to be all around something, often used when talking about people or energy. Example: it's important to surround yourself with positive, supportive people. All right, that's it for today's vocabulary breakdown. If you want to review these again, don't forget, they're all included in the free PDF guide. And hey, try using a few of these words in your daily conversations or journal entries this week. Now back to Erin and Evan.
Thanks, Krystal. That was awesome as always.
Yep. So helpful. And if you made it to the end of this episode, we just want to say thank you.
Seriously, whether you listened while walking, cooking, or just relaxing, we're really glad you spent this time with us.
And remember, you don't need to change everything at once. Just one small step, one good decision, one deep breath.
Exactly. So take that step. And if this episode helped you, maybe share it with someone else who needs it too.
We'll be back soon with more. And until then, keep learning, keep growing.
And as always, keep listening to the English Leap podcast.
Your progress doesn't end here. To continue advancing your English skills, click on the next video or explore the additional videos we've thoughtfully selected for you.